MIT, in partnership with NVIDIA, they came out with a new image generating tool, which brings the best of both uh, different capabilities. So you've got one capability that automatically generates the image, and the other one that fine tunes and really gets that make it look realistic. And so they were able to create and work on building a model that brings both of those together and actually is much more efficient and can run on anyone's laptop. So this is going to really change how people are generating images and being able to prototype ideas and be able to kind of give that visualization of what does this product look like very quickly, and you can put it on different types of people. So if you're in product development, I think this is going to be a great opportunity. You don't have a lot of compute resources and able to do this, and so I think this is going to be a great way for us to really start improving the image capability. It's yet to be seen on how well it'll do with creating words, because that's probably the worst thing that images generation does. Is it doesn't generate words correctly. It would add extra letters. It'll spell it incorrectly, or sometimes it just adds in Russian characters for some unknown reason.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny about imagery. I know it's come a long way, right? You think about DALL-E, you think about Midjourney, which actually Midjourney is pretty good if you know how to use it. And it gets pretty technical there. So we are looking for something easier that is better, meaning when you look at the imagery, it doesn't have, 10 fingers on one hand and things like that. So we're coming a long way. I love this, Jace. Nick, I know you've been walking through some of these AI tools, including what NVIDIA's coming out. So why don't we go over to you? What are your thoughts?
Thanks, Albert. I love that you called it Dale. Like
Is that the name?
Dale.
Dale. It's the Latin. It's the Latin in me. Dale.
Yeah. I've heard it pronounced Dali, but I've never Dale. I love that. That's the Hispanic flavor. That's the Hispanic version.
The
The
spicy
spicy
Dale.
version. Maybe that comes out with Spanish characters instead of Russian. But anyway, no, look, NVIDIA's always been about edge computing. It's been about taking the power of what's inside the data center and distributing it out to the edge, people's homes, in small businesses, in hospitals, right at the edge. Why is that important? And real quickly, it started off with digits. Actually, digits was their very first announcement, and now they're coming out with larger. Digits was more compact, but now they're coming out with larger units that have their Blackwell chip. And I think what's really key on that, and something that I'm a big fan of and support, is private AI. Okay, when we use artificial intelligence like ChatGPT or any one of the big providers like Grok or Anthropic, we are sending our data out there and we don't know what's happening. It's called the black box effect. Okay, meaning that when you send data in, you have no idea what's done with it, how it's stored, how it's being treated, how it's being handled, is it being resold, right? You have no understanding. And all we have to go off of is what they say on their website on how they're handling our data. Or perhaps they'll say, oh, if you're using the API, then we won't use your data to train our models. But once again, it's not auditable. So I love the fact that NVIDIA is promoting edge computing, because there are a lot of use cases where putting AI at the edge, number one, can be critical and life-saving. Think about emergency support and response services, right? If we have AI at the edge, we ensure a higher level of reliability on delivering services faster, because there's something called latency that's introduced when a server is really far away in some data center and we're trying to get an output back really fast to respond very quickly. And, unfortunately, that latency causes a delay. So number one, I would say privacy is number one reason why edge computing is important. Number two, just that speed. And I think that there's a lot of we're going to get on the topic of tokens, but if it's your computer, what do you care what the tokens are, right? So
Right.
I'll send it back to you, Albert.
Well, it's funny, and there's a lot of great stuff, right? 9 times faster. Some of these models are going 9 times faster on image generation, and it's looking really good, right? And then there's these like infrastructure framework things that NVIDIA is coming out with. One of the things I was thinking about though, is when you start to really build this into the infrastructure and it becomes just AI everything. I know this sounds silly, right? But I know there's people out there, including us, like the Wi-Fi goes down and like everything shuts down. Like you can't do a thing, right? And it's just like when you depend on AI of everything, AIoT, is that what people are saying nowadays? Um, but then you don't have the
I don't
source,
think
like
you will.
the bloodline of Wi-Fi bandwidth, etc. Like you can't do anything. It kills me sometimes. Like I don't know what I can. I lose my mind when I can't use this thing anymore. I'm like, there's no Wi-Fi. Like my life's over. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna bang my head against the wall. Have you guys, Jason? Have you thought about that? Like as we're integrating, right? These organizations are integrating things into their software, their infrastructure, their ERP, their everything. Maybe I'm thinking way too complex, right? It's not
No,
that complex.
I don't think that's the case. I think you're absolutely correct.